How you doing, everyone? It's Kevin. We're back with another video here. We're going to be working on the sink. I was going to buy a sink. It's a little over $100, but instead I bought a stainless steel bowl. We're going to be sinking down in the countertop here, and we're going to make this guy our sink. I think it was only like 11 bucks, but I think it'll make just fine sink in this camper. We're going to be placing this guy in the bottom of it. This is so we can drain it. We're going to be mounting this in the bottom. So the first step we want to do is make sure that we can cut this nice little circle out of the bottom so we can get this mounted in here. So we're going to go ahead and cut this circle first. Okay, in order to get the size of my circle, what I did was I pulled the nut off of here first. Pulled your nut off. You take it off and then get this washer, because this washer is the size of the hole that we need. The inside of this is what you need to cut out. And just place it in the center of your pot where you think it's centered up, and then mark it out. Then you'll have your nice little circle. So now we got to just get it cut out. Alright, I'm going to try my plasma cutter on this, but I'm just going to blow a hole through the center of it and see if it'll work. And if it does, we'll make it bigger. If it messes up the bowl, we'll go to Walmart and buy another one for 11 bucks. Okay, you guys seen me trying to cut this with the plasma cutter. For some reason it didn't want to cut it, but I'm telling you, if you get a small hole in there big enough to get your little tin snips in there, you can actually cut this with the tin snips. It will work, but it's not going to leave you a good, the edge is going to be rough. So what I did is I got me a die grinder here, and I'm going to grind the rest of it out until I get to the outside edge. That way I'll have it'll be nice and smooth on that edge. So I'm going to use this grinder on it. Okay, we got our hole in there. The piece needs to slide all the way in. That way when we turn it over, we'll be able to put our drain right down the inside there. So that should work out just fine. So let's go cut a hole in our countertop now. So the next step I'm doing here is we're getting the top, we're going to use some painter's tape so we can mark out where we want the bowl. Now I know you shouldn't be cutting this from the top down, but I'm going to cut it from the top down. I think it'll be just fine. So get the tape down, get her marked out. Alright, once you got the tape down on your counter, just find the center and then go ahead and mark out your circle. But now this is not the circle you're going to be cutting, because this has a lip on it. If you cut that circle, the first one, your bowl's just going to fall down through the hole. Then what you want to do is take your little tape measure and measure the lip on here. This one looks like it has about 3/8 of a lip. So we want to cut 3/8 of an inch on the inside of this circle. Alright, I'm just going to drill a hole through here so we can get our jigsaw blade in here. This way our jigsaw blade will fit right down the inside of here, and then we're going to work our way around. Alright, there's our hole. Now the test. It might need ground out a little bit, or it might just fit in there perfect, just like that. So there we got our sink. going to be really nice. Okay, I went to put this piece down in there, and when I put it down in there, it stuck up off the bottom. So what happens here, I'll show you, there's a lip on this end. It's kind of rolled. So what we want to do is, what I've been doing is, I got this big screwdriver and I'm just taking it and rolling that edge right there, just kind of putting pressure on it and rolling it down. I'm going all the way around it like that until I can get that thing to fit in there perfect. If you just keep rolling it, it makes a nice little lip on there, just like what's on that edge right there. We're just going to do that till we get right around the edge. And then it should lay in there pretty flush. Just keep working at it, you'll get it. Just take your time. Don't be in a hurry when you're on this kind of project. You can actually see where it's a little bit lower. So we'll just roll that edge right there. Now, see how much closer that is to the bottom of my sink now? I'm still going to work on it a little bit more. I'm going to get it as best as I can. Alright, we got the we got this to fit in there pretty good. Now I just took some of that same sealer around the window and we put it on there. It's the same exact stuff. And I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to work this thing down as tight as I can against there. Just like that. And then what we'll do is we'll put our washers on the bottom. You have this washer. You're going to put this one up on first. Then you're going to put this little plastic one on next. Then your bolt. And all I'm going to do now is get this thing tightened in there. And I'm going to pull down on this as I tighten it. Okay. I went in and cut this plate of steel. This is a piece of aluminum to slide down on here. And you'll be able to take a nut and screw it on here. And both these arms should hold it to the base of the counter to keep it from coming up out. That's the goal. Okay, I got the sink all done. We got everything squished on there. The little bracket that holds it up on the bottom works great. As you can see, it just fell off. I need to get another one of these nuts. So I'm going to run up to town and get another nut so I can screw that thing up against there. And that'll tighten it against the countertop. That'll hold it in there in place really good. Now, I got some parts ordered and they're not in yet, but I think I have to cut this off. I'm not sure yet, but we're just kind of waiting on parts. I'm trying to get as much as I can done with what I have on hand right now. But I do think that's going to make a pretty nice little sink for a little camper. Alright guys, guess what? We got our pump, our faucet, and our pump today. Finally come in. We're starting to get parts little by little. As they come, we're going to be putting things together. And this is the faucet we're going to be putting in. We're probably going to put it off to the side. We're going to got everything to mount the sink in now. This is our little pump. What's cool about the pump, it'll suck water up 3 feet from the floor. So we'll be able to mount this on our wall. The only thing is, on the bottom of this, we needed one fitting. We had to go pick up one fitting for it. They give you this little piece here that's in here. It's already on the bottom of your faucet. So in order to hook your 3/8 hose up, you have to buy this little piece to put your 3/8 hose on. And that's okay, it's just a few dollars. But we got everything to put the faucet in with now. And we picked up some hose, some good little clear hose. We got 10 foot of it that we can put in there. Now, on the bottom of this sink, you remember I needed another nut for this so I can put that tensioner up against the bottom to hold the bowl down. Well, we had to buy a whole entire piece just to get that nut. They don't sell it separate. So right now we're going to go ahead and get ready and set the sink down in there. We're going to be using the same stuff that we put on the windows. It's just like a plumber's putty. And we're just going to wipe this off underneath here and put us a layer all the way around the outside of this and get it put on. So that's what we're going to be working on next, getting the sink put in and getting it all hooked up. Okay, you can see we just took that same stuff we put around the windows, put it around the sink. We're just going to set her right down in here. Be a little snug in there, and then we'll go around the outside edge. Probably won't be able to get it out of there even if we didn't put that tensioner on the bottom. You got that nut there? Okay, we're just going to go ahead and put our metal plate on the bottom down here and get this thing set up, and it won't take much for that. Okay, I wanted to show you guys the little bracket that I'd made to hold the sink down in. And we just screwed that nut right up on here and tightened it down good and tight, and that'll hold our sink down, keep it from going up and down. Okay, as you can see, I just put the faucet off to one side here. I didn't want to take up much room. We're not going to do much with the countertop over there anyhow, so I figured over at that one side is good. And as you can see, they give you all the hardware to put it together besides that nipple. Remember I told you we had to go buy that. And then we mounted the pump right there on the back wall. So all we got to do now is hook up our hoses, one from there, up there, to over here, and then down into our tank. Okay, what I've done here is I just drilled a hole there so that line fits down in it. And we're just going to stick it down in there. Good, Danny. Stick it down in our jug. We're going to leave that spout on there so it holds that line down a little bit straighter. Now we got our hose on the bottom here. We've got an 1.25 inch hose. I picked it up at Lowe's. Just took the cap off of here, cut a hole in it, slid it down through there so we could screw it right on our jug. We're going to mark these as gray water, and this one over here will be fresh water. We're going to go ahead and hook the wires up. I forgot to tell you guys, we got our battery today. We got a 12 volt, 100 amp hour battery. This is definitely for our solar panels. This is a good battery to use. Right there's the type of battery it is. So we're going to try out the battery and try to hook this thing up and see if we can get some water to flow. All I got to do is screw that on that gray water tank and we're good to go. Okay, there's how it hooks up into the tank. Pretty easy. Just screw it down on there and this will be your gray water. Okay guys, we got the pump in here, but I'm going to have to get some little hose clamps for this. We actually got it primed up, and I shut the pump off. It builds 35 pounds of pressure and blew the hoses off. So I'm going to show you it working, and then we're going to have to get some hose clamps and put on there and up on the other part. But all I got to do is just, Danny will plug it in there. It's a little bit loud, but now if you turn it off, it'll build up pressure. But I think it's going to work out pretty good for us. Now if you want to drain it, I wanted to leave some water in there just to make sure I didn't have any leaks up underneath here. And it's good and dry. So all we have to do is pull this out. It goes right into my tank down on the bottom. My gray water tank. So we got a little bit of bugs to work out, but other than that, I think it's going to be a great little sink to wash your hands in. And pretty inexpensive little sink here. It's not like I couldn't go out and buy a new sink, but I wanted to do something different in this build. And I thought a bowl sink would have been a pretty good idea, and that's what I did.